What's up, people? Welcome to Real Estate Exam Review Study Guide with me, Luis Valencia. We're doing the vocabulary. This is part 10. Alright, so we're up to part 10. So, yeah. Alright, so last time we were in the eyes, the vocabulary in the eyes, the vocabulary terms that you will need if you want to become a real estate agent, study for the exam, or you just want to learn the terminology so you're prepared when you want to buy a house for the first time, or you want to sell your house, or you want to do any business regarding real estate. All right, okay, so let's keep going. All right, last word we left off was an installment sale. Installment sale. All right, installment sale is a method of reporting income received from the sale of real estate when the sale price is paid in 2 or more installments or over 2 or more years. Installment sale, a method of reporting income received from the sale of real estate when the sale price is paid in 2 or more installments over 2 or more years. Right? Installment sale. Okay, the next word is instrument. Instrument is a written legal document. A written legal document. That's an instrument. If you want to define money or paper money, that's a monetary instrument. So it's a legal document. But just the simple word instrument is a written legal document, an instrument. Okay. The next word is interim financing. Interim financing. This is a bridge or swing loan to cover the gap between purchase of a new home and sale of the old one. Interim financing, the bridge or swing loan to cover the gap between purchase of a new home and sale of an old one. So if you're selling your old home and you're gonna buy a new one, maybe like in the middle there might be financing that you might need to cover the closing and everything. So that's called interim financing. Interim financing. That's what I understand it to be. Okay, the next word is intestate. Intestate. This is the condition of a property owner who dies without leaving a valid will. Intestate. Intestate. The condition of a property owner who dies without leaving a valid will. All right. The next word is if they do leave a will, I believe it's called testate, but don't quote me on that. We haven't gone to the T's yet, but I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. So intestate is like without a will. I think I said it wrong before. And then testate is with a will, with a will. All right. The next word is inverse condemnation suit. Inverse condemnation suit. This is the action taken by a property owner when the government action severely limits how the property may be used. The action taken by the property owner when the government action severely limits how the property may be used. Inverse condemnation suit. So basically, if they say the government takes over your house because they want to build a park, they want to build a museum in your house, it's basically the action that the property owner takes. All right. This is inverse condemnation. Okay. The next word is involuntary lien. Involuntary lien. A lien imposed against property without consent of the owner. An example could be taxes, special assessment. So any involuntary lien is a lien. Most of the time it's taxes. So they take over they have a lien against your property, and it's an involuntary lien. Let's say there's voluntary liens as well. Like there's involuntary, which could be like you're forced to pay taxes, or you're forced to put a lien on your property because you didn't pay taxes. Or there's voluntary lien. Voluntary lien, an example could be a mortgage. So if you pay a mortgage, you volunteer to pay it until it pays off the house. So it's considered a voluntary lien. Okay. The next word is ISRA. ISRA, ISRA. This is the Industrial Site Recovery Act. Industrial Site Recovery Act. A New Jersey statute that provides for mandatory cleanup of industrial and some commercial sites when they are closed, sold, or otherwise change ownership. This is the Industrial Site Recovery Act, and in New Jersey is a statute that provides for mandatory cleanup of industrial and some commercial sites when they are closed, sold, or otherwise changed ownership. ISRA, Industrial Site Recovery Act. Okay, it's a cleanup. It's basically like a mandatory cleanup. Okay. The next word is joint tenancy. Joint tenancy. Joint tenancy is an ownership of real estate between two or more parties who have been named in one conveyance, specifically as joint tenants. Upon death of a joint tenant, his or her interest passes to the surviving joint tenant or tenants. Upon the death of a joint tenant, his or her interest passes to the surviving joint tenant or tenants. So basically, like marriage, for example, that's considered a joint tenancy, because if one of them dies, then it goes to the following person. The most common one is called tenancy in common. But joint tenancy, the difference would be is that like if one person dies, then that ownership goes to the other person or the other people that are still alive. Joint tenancy. Okay. All right. The next word is joint venture. Joint venture. Joint venture is the joining of two or more people to conduct a specific business enterprise. You have a joint venture. Like an example could be, let's say, I don't know, I own car wash, right? I own a car wash, and then the business next door to the car wash owns a detail wash. But if they join together, the two businesses, and they make it into one business, like a car wash and a detail wash, they join it together, they join both businesses, they're right next to each other, then they go into a joint venture. They join together and they do a venture together. That's an example of joint venture. Okay, the next word is jumbo loan. Jumbo loan. This loan for a higher amount than those generally bought by the secondary market. Loan for a higher amount than those generally bought by the secondary market. So a jumbo loan could be like a 30-year mortgage loan. All right, that could be an example. Jumbo loan. Loan for a higher amount than those generally bought by the secondary market. Okay, the next word is junior lien. Junior lien. This is an obligation such as a second mortgage that is subordinate in priority to an existing lien on the same realty. A junior lien is an obligation such as a second mortgage that is a subordinate in priority to an existing lien on the same realty. What I understand a junior lien would be like, let's say you get a loan for a house that's $500,000, but you're only able to get a loan for the first mortgage for $400,000. The junior lien could be another separate loan with a different percentage rate for the rest of the $100,000 that you would need for a $500,000 loan. A junior lien, an obligation such as a second mortgage that is subordinate in priority to an existing lien on the same realty. Okay. All right. So we're done with the J's. We did the I's and the J's. So now we're doing the letter L. Letter L. Okay, the first word is laches. 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 This is the loss of a legal right through undue delay in asserting it. Laches are a loss of legal right through undue delay in asserting it. Latches. Okay, I gotta study that a little bit more. The next word is land. Land. The earth's surface extending downward to the center of the earth and upward infinitely into space. Land. The earth's surface extending downward to the center of the earth and upward infinitely into space. So as a landowner, you own the air rights, everything above the roof, and everything under the ground. So if there's oil under the ground, that you you have you're the owner of that. You could be the owner of that, and anything above ground. If you want to um, put advertising, if you live in a building in the middle of the city and you want to advertise, you could rent your airspace or your air rights to companies, make some extra money. All right. Okay. The next word is land contract. I mean contract for the. Landlord. Landlord. Landlord is one who rents property to another. A landlord is one who rents property to another. Very simple. Landlord. Okay, the next word is latent defect. Latent defect. This is a problem with the property not discoverable by ordinary prudent inspection. This is a problem with the property not discoverable by ordinary prudent inspection. So when you do a closing of a house, it's important that you advise whoever's buying the house from you of the latent defects. Like what problems does it have? Is there like a leak in this part of the roof? Is there any problems in the house? Those are the latent defects. All right. Okay, the next word is law against discrimination. Law against discrimination. Okay, in New Jersey's law listing protected classes for fair housing practice. In New Jersey's law listing protected classes for fair housing practice. So law against discrimination is basically it protects the classes for fair housing practices. Law against discrimination. New Jersey's law listing protected classes for a fair housing practice. Okay, now the next word is lead. Lead. Okay, this is once used as a pigment and drying agent in alkyd oil-based paint. Oh, it's not lead, it's lead. 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 Once used as a pigment and drying agent in alkyd oil-based paint. Exposure to lead has been linked to serious brain, kidney, nervous system, and blood damage. Lead-based paint has been banned since 1978. Other sources of legal exposure include plumbing, incinerators, and lead-based gasoline. Federal law requires the disclosure of known lead-based paint in a property. So when you're going to close on a home, you have to disclose the disclosure of known lead-based paint if it was before 1978, because before 1978 it was legal. All right, lead-based paint. Okay, the next word is lease. 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 Lease is a written or oral contract between a landlord, the lessor, and the tenant, the lessee, that transfers the right to exclusive possession and use of the landlord's real property to the lessee for a specific period of time and for a stated consideration, rent. Alright, so a lease is a written or oral contract between a landlord, the lessor, and the tenant, the lessee, that transfers the right to exclusive possession and use of the landlord's real property to the lessee for a special period of time and for a stated consideration, rent. Okay. The next word is leasehold estate. Leasehold estate. Leasehold estate is a tenant's right to occupy real estate during the term of a lease, generally considered to be personal property. All right, so it's basically a rental contract. Like you can rent the apartment for a year, whatever. A leasehold estate, a tenant's right to occupy real estate during the term of a lease, generally considered to be personal property. All right. Okay, the next word is legacy. Legacy. This is a disposition of money or personal property by will. A disposition of money or personal property by will. Legacy. Okay, the next word is legal description. Legal description. This is a description of a specific parcel of real estate, complete enough for an independent surveyor or to locate and identify it. Legal description. A description of a specific parcel of real estate, complete enough for an independent surveyor to locate and identify it. Legal description. Okay. Next word is letter of intent. Letter of intent. This is a non-binding, usually recitation of what the parties intend to do, proceeding or entering into a contract. So if you're thinking about selling a house and somebody doesn't offer, they might want to write down what they intend to offer for the house. So that could be considered a letter of intent. Or the person that's selling it could be like, oh, this is what I intend to include with the house. Letter of intent. This is how much it will cost. This is how long it would take to clear everything before the contract. So it's a letter of intent. Okay. The next word is leverage. Leverage. Leverage is the use of borrowed money to finance investments. Leverage. The use of borrowed money to finance investments. Leverage. The use of borrowed money to finance investments. Right? That's leverage. Okay, the next word is lessee. In a lease is the tenant, the lessee. That's the tenant. All right? Lessor. In a lease is the landlord. The lessor is the landlord. The lessee is the tenant. All right? The next word is license. This is a privilege right granted to a person by a state to operate as a real estate broker or a salesperson. License. That's one of the definitions when it comes to real estate. Another definition could be like the revocable permission for temporary use of a land. So let's say you let somebody use your driveway so they could get across onto the other side. You're giving them a license, a permission, a revocable permission for a temporary use of your land. Okay? All right. The next word is lien. Lien. All right. This is the right given by law to certain creditors to have their debt paid out of the property of a defaulting debtor, usually by means of court sale. Lien. A right given by law to certain creditors to have their debt paid out of the property of a defaulting debtor, usually by the means of a court sale. A lien. All right. The next word is life estate. Life estate is an interest in real or personal property that is limited in duration to the lifetime of its owner or some other designated person. A life estate is an interest in real or personal property that is limited in duration to the lifetime of its owner or some other designated person. Life estate. Okay, so basically it could be they could own the house as long as they're alive. A life estate. Okay. The next word is life tenant. This is a person in possession of a life estate. Life tenant. The person in a possession of a life estate. Okay. Next word is LLC. Limited liability company. Limited liability company. LLC. This is an organization that combines the simplicity and tax treatment of a partnership with the protection from liability offered by a corporation. It is the organization that combines the simplicity and tax treatment of a partnership with protection from liability offered by a corporation. All right, an LLC. Okay. Next word is liquidated damages. Liquidated damages. Okay, some agreed upon to serve as compensation if one party defaults. Liquidated damages. Some agreed upon to serve as compensation if one party defaults. So let's say you're selling a house, the other person's buying a house. They said, okay, they agreed that before the closing date that all the carpets would be changed. The carpets were not changed, right? So they're like, okay, we agreed new carpets, so we have to we have to uh, um, the person that was going to sell the house will have to add liquidated damages, basically to compensate because because basically the carpets were not changed like it was agreed upon. All right, so that would be in liquidated damages way, like in a through liquidated damages. Then you could add up the difference because it is the sum agreed upon to serve as a compensation if one party defaults. So if you're the one that's selling the house, you default because you didn't change the carpets. So now, since you agreed upon it at that price, then liquidated damages will be the amount that you will have to add at the end of the contract because you didn't change them, because you didn't change the carpets or whatever it is that you didn't do. All right. The next word is liquidity. Liquidity. This is the ability to sell an asset and convert it into cash at a price close to its true value in a short period of time. Liquidity. The ability to sell an asset and convert it into cash at a price close to its true value in a short period of time. Liquidity. Okay, the next word is lis pendens. Lis pendens. This is a recorded legal document giving constructive notice that court action affecting a particular property is pending. So if it's in court, it's lis pendens. A recorded legal document giving constructive notice that court action affecting a particular property is pending. All right, so it's pending in court, lis pendens. Okay, the next word is listing agreement. Listing agreement. Listing agreement is a contract between. Oh, I gotta go. Listing agreement, a contract between a property owner as a principal and a licensed real estate broker as an agent. A contract between a property owner as a principal and the licensed real estate broker as an agent, by which the broker is employed as an agent to sell real estate on the owner's terms within a given time, for which service the landowner agrees to pay a commission or fee. Okay, listing agreement, a contract between a property owner as a principal and a licensed real estate broker as an agent, by which the broker is employed as an agent to sell real estate on the owner's terms within a given time, for which service the landlord agrees to pay a commission fee. Okay, a listing agreement, a contract. Okay. About a contract to rent a place or to sell a place. Okay, listing broker. Listing broker. The broker in a multiple listing situation from whose office a listing agreement is initiated, as opposed to selling broker, from the office negotiating leading up to the sale are initiated. So a listing broker is the broker in a multiple listing situation from whose office a listing agreement is initiated, as opposed to selling broker from an office. Negotiations leading up to the sale are initiated. All right. Okay, the next word is literal rights. Literal rights. This is a landlord's claim to use water in large navigable lakes and ocean adjacent to his or her property. A landowner's claim to use water in large navigable lakes and oceans adjacent to his or her property. The ownership rights to land bordering these bodies of water up to the mean high water mark. Okay? So when you think of literal rights, think of, literal, like could be like a lake, literal, right? Lakes or oceans. All right. The rights that you have because you're attached to a lake or an ocean. Okay, the next word is loan estimate. Loan estimate. This is a 3-page TRID required document that itemizes important details of the mortgage loan. A 3-page TRID required document that itemizes important details of the mortgage loan. Lender must provide the borrower within 3 business days after receiving the borrower's intent to proceed. The lender must provide the borrower within 3 business days after receiving the borrower's intent to proceed. Okay. The next word is LTV. LTV, loan to value. LTV, loan to value. This is the ratio between property's value and the amount lent on it. The ratio between the property's value and the amount lent to it. Loan to value. Okay. Next word is locational obsolescence. Locational obsolescence. It says to look up obsolescence. So obsolescence is this is the locational obsolescence, functional obsolescence, external obsolescence, external obsolescence. We went over this. All right. External obsolescence is the reduction in property's value caused by factors outside the subject property, such as social environment forces or objectionable neighboring property. So external obsolescence, that could be like anything that might raise the value or lower the value of a home. It could be anything like let me see, the example I used before was an airport. So if there's a lot of noise, the noise from the airport could be an obsolescence, something that affects the property that is not in the house. It could be I don't know, let's say they built a factory like a block away, and then it starts to the factory starts to produce a lot of smoke. So that could be negative. So that might lower the value of the house. So it's an external obsolescence. Okay. All right. All right. The next word is marginal tax rate. Marginal tax rate. We're doing the M's now. Let's do a little bit of the M's. Okay. Marginal tax rate. Okay, the rate at which the investor's top dollar is taxed. Marginal tax rate. The rate at which the investor's top dollar is taxed. Marginal tax rate. The rate at which the investor's top dollar is taxed. The marginal tax rate. Next word is marketable title. Marketable title. This is a good or clear title, reasonably free from the risk of litigation over possible defects. A marketable title is a title that is a good or clear title, reasonably free from the risk of litigation over possible defects. A clean title, like a Carfax, but it's clean. It's a clean title, a marketable title. Okay. Market data approach. Market value. Market value. Market value. This is the probable price. The probable price already, willing, able, and informed buyer would pay, and ready, willing, and able, and informed seller would accept, neither being under any pressure to act, and after allowing for reasonable exposure on the market. So this is the probable price a ready, willing, able, and informed buyer would pay for, or a ready, willing, able, and informed seller would accept, neither being under any pressure to act, and after allowing for reasonable exposure on the market value. All right, was like the fair price that they would actually pay for or accept payment for. Okay, the master plan. Master plan. This is a comprehensive plan to guide the long-term physical development of a particular area. A master plan. Everything is done by a master plan, a comprehensive plan to guide the long-term physical development of a particular area. A comprehensive plan to guide the long-term physical development of a particular area. A master plan. Okay, the next one is mechanics lien. This could be a construction lien, a mechanic lien. So basically, let's say a construction person did some work on the house and then you didn't pay them, so then they could put a lien on your house because you didn't pay them. That's mechanics lien. All right, construction lien, mechanics lien. All right. All right. The next word is Megan's law. Megan's law. A New Jersey law requiring that communities be alerted to the presence of convicted sex offenders. All contracts and leases must include a Megan's Law statement advising the purchases and leases that a list of any known sex offenders who live in the area may be obtained from the county prosecutor. So, if you're on the convicted sex offenders list, then you will be on that list, and then it will be shown contracts and leases. All right, all right, this is called the Megan's Law. A New Jersey law requiring that communities be alerted to the presence of convicted sex offenders. All contracts and leases must include a Megan's Law statement and advertising purchases and leases that a list of any known sex offenders who live in the area may be obtained from any country prosecutor. Megan's Law. All right. Meets and bounds. Meets and bounds. This is a legal description of a parcel of land that begins at well-marked point and follows the boundaries, using the direction and distances around the track back to the place of the beginning. Meets and bounds. A legal description of a parcel of land that begins at a well-marked point and follows the boundaries, using the direction and distances around the track back to the place of the beginning. Okay, the next word is mill. Mill. 1/10 of 1 cent. That's a mill. A tax rate of 52 mills would be 0.052 cents. Tax for each dollar of assessed value of a property. So a mill is 1/10 of 1 cent. A tax rate of 52 mills would be 0.05, so like 5 cents. 5 cents and then a little bit, 0.52 tax of a dollar assessed valuation of a property. All right. The next word is mineral rights. Mineral rights. These are subsurface rights which can be sold or retained separately. So mineral rights. So let's say you go to your backyard and you start digging, and then you see petroleum pop out of the ground. That's mineral rights. So those are your mineral rights. All right. Or you find gold in your backyard or in your basement. You start digging, you find gold. Those are your mineral rights. Okay, the next word is minor, a person under 18 years old. Minor, a person under 18 years old. Minor. Okay, the next word is MIP. MIP. MIP is mortgage insurance premium. MIP is mortgage insurance premium. Mortgage insurance premium. Okay. The next word is month-to-month tenancy. Month-to-month tenancy. This is a periodic tenancy that is the tenant rents for one period at a time in the absence of a rental agreement or oral written. A tenancy is generally considered to be a month-to-month. All right, a periodic tenancy that the tenants rents for one period at a time in the absence of a rental agreement, oral or written. A tenancy is generally considered to be a month-to-month. Okay, the next word is monument. A fixed natural or artificial object used to establish real estate boundaries for meets and bounds description. A monument, a fixed natural or artificial object used to establish real estate boundaries for a meets and bounds description. All right, that's the monument. All right. Next word is moratorium. Moratorium. This is a halt to development, often temporary. Moratorium. A halt to development, often temporary. So let's say you're building a building and then you have to wait for a certain inspection or something. That could be a moratorium. That's what I understand that could be. Moratorium. Okay, the next word is mortgage. Mortgage. Mortgage is a conditional transfer or pledge of real estate as security for the payment of a debt. Mortgage, a conditional transfer or pledge of real estate as a security of the payment for debt. This is also the document creating the mortgage lien, a voluntary lien. Remember, we just talked about it today. All right, the next word is mortgage banker. Mortgage banker. This is an institution set up to make mortgage loans. A mortgage banker, an institution set up to make mortgage loans. Institution set up to make mortgage loans. All right. The next word is mortgagee. Mortgagee. This is a lender in a mortgage loan transaction. Mortgagee is a lender in a mortgage loan transaction. Mortgagee, so it could be Selene Finance, Countrywide Finance, I don't know, Chase Bank. I don't know if they do loans for houses, but whoever, that's the mortgagee, the one that gives the money, the loan, the bank that gives the loan, the lender. Okay, the next word is mortgage lien. Mortgage lien. This is a lender's claim against the specific parcel of real estate pledged as a security for a debt. A lender's claim against a specific parcel of a real estate pledged as a security for debt. A lender's lien, a mortgage lien. Okay, the next word is mortgage reduction certificate. Mortgage reduction certificate. This is an instrument executed by the mortgage, by the mortgagee, setting forth the percent status and the balance due on the mortgage as of the date of the execution of the instruments. An instrument executed by the mortgagee setting forth the present status and the balance due on the mortgage as of the date of the execution of the instrument. All right, mortgage reduction certificate. An instrument executed by the mortgagee setting forth the present status and the balance due on the mortgage as of the date of the execution of the instrument. Okay, the next word is mortgager. Mortgager. A borrower who conveys his or her property as a security for a loan. Mortgager. A borrower who conveys his or her property as a security for a loan. Okay, the next word is Mount Laurel 1 and 2. Mount Laurel 1 and 2. This is a judicial interpretation that requires local zoning boards to provide realistic opportunities for housing that low to moderate income households could afford. A judicial interpretation that requires local zoning boards to provide realistic opportunities for housing the low to moderate households can afford. Mount Laurel 1 and 2. I believe one could be like, let's say you're a developer and then you build a building. So you're making this building. And then there's certain laws that that help people that's low income, right? So they might say like, okay, 2% of this building has to be rented by somebody who's low income. So they might lower the rent on purpose. So I believe this could be an example of Mount Laurel 1 and 2, a judicial interpretation that requires local zoning boards to provide realistic opportunities for housing that low to moderate income households can afford. So let's say it's a fancy building in the middle of Times Square. Maybe they might ask 2% or 5% or 10% or whatever that percentage is to be a low income or moderate income getting person, a person that gets or that that could get low income or moderate income. So they have to have a space in the building for that. All right. All right. The next word is multiple listing service, or MLS. Multiple listing service. This is an organization in which brokers share listings with each other. An organization in which brokers share listings with each other. So it's like a Facebook, basically, for houses. So like all the listings go in there. So if you're a broker, then you have access to the MLS. That's basically what it is. Not a Facebook, but it's like basically that's where all the house. If a house goes for sale, all the information is there. All the houses for sale. If a house is somebody, wants to find out where I get this house, the areas, the zones, they will go to the MLS. All right. Okay, so that was the M's, and that was part 10. I think we finished for today, and then tomorrow we keep going from the ends. Yeah. All right. So thank you for joining me in as I study and go over real estate terminology. Hopefully it helps you as well. So if this helped you in any way, you could subscribe so you could get the notification that when a video comes up, and you could like the video because it would just, I don't know, it helps the algorithm, and then more people could see the video, so then the information could be shared more. All right, thank you very much, and thank you. Okay, all right, take care, everybody.